What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Squad Busters. Today we want to check out all the spells in game and want to rank them from the weakest spell to the strongest spell. So if you are curious about the best spell in the game, definitely stay tuned and watch this video until the end. And with that said, thank you everybody for being here again, really appreciate it, and a big shout out to your support. Thank you guys for supporting the latest videos, and don't forget to like this one as well. There's the tier list, and before we hop into it, a little bit of a disclaimer. It's a tier list, and the tier list is based on opinions, this one most likely on my own opinion and impression from the game. So I have considered all the spells where I sometimes got killed with, and the ones which I have used the most to determine which is the best spell. And that means you may have a different opinion, and that's totally okay. If you have any improvement suggestions, please write it down below in the comment section. And we never know, it's Supercell, they will anyway buff and nerf different spells in the future. So let's get ahead and start with the weakest spell, which is the D rank. So we will rank all those spells from D, C, B, A to the best rank, the S tier spells. And in the D rank we got there the skeleton spell. You get access to it as soon as you unlock the witch on the super form, and whenever you then spawn a witch you get that spell. Okay, in some situations it's pretty funny, like in Doppelganger if you spam those barrels, it is kinda funny, but most likely the servers just go overheat in that second. So what is the use of this spell? I am using it as soon as I get it early, the witch, to throw the barrel onto the tougher monsters and get a good head start in farming. But consider epic units at the start of a match, unless it is the epic boost mode, are blocking a little bit your positions, and the price of your crates increases because you can't fusion the epics that likely in the early game. But why is this a weak spell? Well, this is most likely the only use. I think I never successfully blocked a tougher opponent when he was attacking me. Yes, a little bit, but they are melting. Those skeletons are super weak and the enemy can easily run around it because it is not really stunning the opponent. Coming as next already to the C rank, which means the skeletons are the only spell at the moment in my opinion being in the D rank. The first one is the Royal Delivery spell. You get access to it as soon as you unlock the Royal King on its super form. You get one unit which you can throw at the opponent. I think it's even slightly stunning the opponent, which makes it a little bit more useful in my personal opinion than the skeletons. But overall it's still a not too crazy spell, especially if we compare it to the other ones. And I have the feeling that all those spells which we only can access with the units, they are a little bit weaker than the other ones. The next one is the freezing spell, which is freezing the opponent, but not really, it's just slowing down the speed, and that is a thing could get slightly improved in the future. You may see the super freeze soon. If you didn't check out my latest video, definitely do it to get some sneak peek about that. Yep, it's the freezing spell. In some situations it is good, but only if you are escaping. If we are considering that we are the attacking the tough squad in the game, there is no use for the freezing spell. It is not helping us farming, neither getting a big advantage to kill an opponent, since the range of throwing in a spell is pretty short distanced. Still, the freeze can help there and will help you to escape from some situations, but definitely one of the weakest spells. I even was struggling to rate it as a D, because in some situations the skeletons are better definitely than the freezing spell, just from the farming look. But I considered okay, I can see the advantage. Whenever we want to escape, we can use the freeze. Coming now to the B tier, and that is the middle rank, which means those spells are already pretty good to use and have some situations where they might be even better. Starting off with the cannon. And you may think, oh hey Stormy, why you're ranking the cannon that high? The cannon has some situations where it is really good. First, it spawns pretty often, but that should be not the factor why I rank it that high. In the early game, it is helping to farm fast gold and even some gems depending on the mode. That's why I kinda like to play it, especially like in the first 30 seconds. Towards the mid game, it can even help you to farm the bigger monsters in the center if you decide to go early into the center and not farming with Mavis or Craig. And that is definitely a good use case in all of those modes. That's why the cannon is so good in my opinion. Furthermore, if you are in those modes where you get a lot of spells, it is pretty funny to build up a huge cluster of cannons, and then if an enemy runs in, you can trap them. The damage is pretty tough from the cannon, and that's why it is a B tier spell. Followed by the lightning. Strike up to 3 foes with powerful jolts of damage. Fusion units get it hit harder. And that is a thing. Okay, this spell is already pretty nice in the early game. If you're attacking those tier 2 monsters, yes, the damage is pretty good and you can get fast some gold, but that's almost it. Bots are easy to kill with that, for sure. We all know that, and it is very useful in the baby mode. If we have fusion units, it causes even more damage, and the lightning spell did pretty often help me to wreck some enemies, because it's attacking 3 units, and if you cast it in a good time, the enemy has bigger squad, you get the weak units which will get slightly stunned, and you can head up to them and kill them afterwards, because the initial damage of the lightning spell is pretty good, and the last strike is done by your squad. So that is definitely a useful spell, but not too crazy. The same counts for the next one, which is the log. Topple enemies near and far with the vengeful rolling of this angry wood. So the damage is not crazy, but the toss is pretty heavy, and this is actually funny. And I mean, yes, there are some circumstances where it will be able to help you. For me, it is the better freezing spell, because the enemies are getting pushed away if you time it in a good way, and you also can push some guys together or push a team into another team that they start to fight and you join as a third party. So that's definitely a different use case than the lightning spell, but still a useful one. Coming as next to the A tier spells, which means they are seriously good and you should consider using them to get a good head start or an advantage over the opponent. The first one is the Furnace. The Furnace is crazy good, and I was even struggling, hey, should I put it into the S tier? But I don't know. In some modes, like Gem Overflow, it is crazy good because all of these fire spirits are dropping 1 gem, which is hella farm. On the other side, the damage is pretty tough. Would not be the first time a bot completely getting melted by those fire spirits which the Furnace is spawning. Furthermore, the same as for the cannon, it is a building which can tank some hits, and it is a pretty tough building. And the Furnace, if you play it or if you get it really early, will help you to get some insane good farm. You can focus on some bigger monsters, and on the other side, a little bit away, the Furnace is causing a lot of damage to smaller monsters and is creating a lot of farm. So you can focus on your standard looting route, getting back to the Furnace, collect all the coins and the gems if there are some, and then boom, you can straight open 1 or 2 chests if you get it really in the early game. Later on, when everything is getting chaotic, having 1 Furnace or even 2 Furnaces with 1, 2, 3 cannons in the center is super helpful, as you get some buildings to tank the damage and to cause further damage to the opponent, and you can still run around with your squad trying to backstab the opponent. I really like the Furnace, and I'm super excited to see which buildings we will see in the future. Just imagining an Inferno Tower, which would be crazy, placing it right next to a big boss monster. As next we are coming to the bomb, which is a really good supportive item. Not only that you can toss away the opponents in a very good way, it's easy to aim. Furthermore, it helps you farming instead of a crack or a mavis. So yep, carrots as well as the trees are just getting blown up and you get the farm of it. And that's why this is one of the best spells in the game when we are coming to farming capabilities. You don't need to play a crack or a mavis if you get these spells. They will boost your early loot in a very good way and will help you to get a head start of the opponents. The next one is a little bit more a passive one. It's the healing spell. The heal is pretty good and fusion units are getting even a faster heal, and since all those healers in the game are not too crazy good, at least in my opinion, I prefer this spell over the usage of a healer unit. And you may think, why Battle Healer giving you further HP? Yes, that is the case, but this one, you can still run around, you're getting healed, and you don't have to do something for it, which is pretty nice. You have to either open a crate for the Battle Healer, you have to idle or whatever. And this one is causing quite some significant health to your squad, and pretty often it helped me to escape with from an opponent and survive. The next one is the Heal Station, another healing spell which is in some situations better than the heal spell itself, and sometimes it is a little bit worse. First, it's a building which can take some shots from the opponents, and it is healing you. The heal amount is super good. That's why I love it, and the best thing is you get access to it as soon as you unlock Pam. You will be able to get a healing tower whenever you spawn a new unit after you have a Pam in your squad. Having her on the super form even gives you another healing spell into your inventory, which you then can use later, which is very nice if you're fighting the big monsters very early in the game in the center of the map, or if you want to fight with some heavy or some tanks in a close combat versus the enemy. So I can see that spell is very nice, while Pam itself is not too crazy, but that heal is pretty good, and the area is pretty large, and this will definitely help you, and it helped so many times to survive a fight. And just standing still attacking the opponent is running around, not really attacking, we are slightly healing in parallel, then he decides to attack again and we are still healing, and sometimes even a new crate spawns, you get a new unit, boom, the next healing tower is there, and in Doppelganger if you spam there like 5-6 heal towers, that is crazy. So what are your thoughts on these A-tier spells? Are they good? Or do you think one or the other can be even in the S rank or should be in the B rank? Please write it down below in the comment section. Now we're coming to the best spells in game from my personal favor. The first one is the Shrink spell. While I'm still not 100% sure how this is working, I have the feeling the damage of the opponent is much less in that situation when they are shrunk down. While I didn't see any effect of the opponent HP, which you may think. So that one, like everybody who is shrunk in game, is running away. Myself included, for sure. Because that one is really crazy good. And the duration is pretty good. And that's why I think this is a well-deserved S-tier spell. And the last one, you may have missed it already, it's the Rage spell, which is boosting your damage. And what should I say, this is crazy. This one is your damage out, it boosts your damage output massively and will help you to farm big bosses really early in the game, kill enemy squads. And well, that is just a really nice thing, and I've seen many smaller or weaker squads using that spell and being stronger than myself, or when I had a weaker squad, I was still able to bust the enemy. Especially good to use together with the healing spell, if you have 2 slots with the wizard, or if you have multiple spells laying on the floor. That is kind of funny if those colors are changing every few milliseconds. And the Rage spell right now, my personal favorite, is a little bit better than the Shrinking spell. But I see a lot of guys using or preferring the Shrink spell. Furthermore, the Rage spell is really common in the game and you get it straight from the green world. So what are your thoughts on the tier list? Is it properly? Please write down below in the comment section. And for sure, same as for the unit or the buster tier list, we will adapt it with every upcoming update and meta change. So thank you guys for watching and don't forget to subscribe.